pain. Crumbling towers, streets in flames, forgotten heroes, who knows their names? Broken future, shattered dreams.
Hello, friends. This is Sam Cheney reporting for Weaponized News. Today is May 15th, 2025. We got a lot of fives today on the calendar. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday edition of Weaponized News. So what is going on today? Trump's still in the Middle East. We've got a lot of government propaganda from the White House. We've got a lot of propaganda everywhere, honestly. We got Trump secures $2 billion new deal with United Arab Emirates. Go over that a little bit. And so making America great again in the new golden age for the military-industrial complex as Congress fights about tax breaks. I think the GOP-controlled Congress has passed, last I looked, 5 laws. And they control both houses and the executive. And so they don't work. They don't do their job. They're all in the take. And yeah, sorry. There's no political solution to this corruption. The system has to fall under the weight of its own corruption, essentially. How are we doing on, let's take a look here. Looks like all the streams are up and running. Rumble's back. We had a problem. There you go. A few people. Hello, Chloe. Hello, Ruckus. Thank you guys for joining us. Okay, what else do we got? Just had to check the streams quickly there. Looks like everything is back and working out it's supposed to. So the thumbnail of this show, the tallest building in the world there, is lit up like the American flag. And so they're pandering to Trump. And then you go look through the comments, and it's just sickening, the shilling. But I guess what do you expect? They're paid shills on the interwebs to promote government propaganda. Posing as patriots is honestly makes me want to throw up. But that's where we're at there. Don't be deceived by these people. They're government shills. We got a lot of healthcare news, public health news today. Shocking, I know. United Health is under investigation by the Justice Department for Medicare fraud. I know, shocking, right? The same guys that remember old Luigi allegedly took out the CEO there, and all the right-winger conservatives are up in arms. Hey, idiots, these companies are screwing everybody over. You know what I mean? It's just, there's a wall of idiocy that we see here. But we care about our conservative principles, they constantly tell us. It's idiocy. The Constitution of America is total bullshit. Their constitutional conservative principles are total bullshit. It all sounds well and good, great rhetoric, patriotic. I bought into it for a long time, and it's just simply not true. Just look around. It's self-evident, okay? It's self-evident that the government doesn't give a damn about the Constitution. They don't give a damn about our rights. They do whatever the hell they want. Still, no one in the government's gotten in trouble for all the crimes against humanity just the last 5 years. In just the last 5 years. United Health did see their stock drop by some 13% amid the announcement of their investigation. We'll see what comes of that. They're the largest health insurer in America. The big news, I guess we'll have to get to. Can we even report on it? I don't know. Probably not. HHS to stop miracle routine for children and pregnant women. Whoop-de-friggin' do. Took them long enough. But your criminal doctor will still say take it. You know what I mean? So At this point, if you can't figure out what's going on, then just keep taking your boosters, I guess. I don't know what to even tell people anymore. It's just okay. We got some other more important announcements about NIH is they're rolling with the narrative, which we've reported a long time here. NIH says, they say in a press release put out today, infant with rare incurable disease, it's first to successfully receive personalized gene therapy treatment. So the NIH is claiming here now. They want to give everyone personalized gene therapy treatment is the agenda here, in case anybody didn't know. A couple things fell off of this is not breaking, but it's still worth getting covered. Georgia becomes second U.S. state to shield Bayer, maker of Roundup weed killer, for some cancer claims. And so it's not enough that the miracle makers have liability protection for any adverse reactions and damages and deaths they cause out there. Now we've moved on to Roundup, to Bayer, Monsanto, glyphosate. Now they're getting liability protection. It's just beyond the pale of criminality where they openly poison the environment, you directly, all the little critters in the ecosystem, and so on. But yet they're the good guys. Bayer, literal Nazi company that bought Monsanto, another, I guess that's American Nazi company. And now they are getting liability protection. It's just beyond the pale, man. So your government is, well, they're evil and corrupt, as if we didn't already know, but they prove it literally every day here now. I don't know. What are we going to do? They would probably be sued out of existence. And so God forbid that happen. A company putting poison on the market, destroying the environment. God forbid they are allowed to be sued out of existence, for their crimes. So we got that in the public health, other public health news as well. We'll get to that section of the show. We got economic news. We got the militarization. We're seeing an increasing militarization of America here now. And it is, what is it? It's Police Week. So happy Police Week as MAGA cheers it on here. We've got FBI set up another dupe, ISIS, so they can act like they're the saviors. They stop terrorism. Well, there wouldn't have been terrorism if you wouldn't have set up this useful idiot dupe patsy. We got that story for you. It's the same story every time, hundreds, thousands of times. They're keeping us safe by busting the patsies they set up to do, quote, terrorism. We got that story. Oh, yeah, if I didn't tell you, happy Police Week. Don't we love Back the Blue? Here, we'll just put this up. This is from the White House. Back the Blue clown show. Even though they don't arrest the government that are committing crimes against us. There you go, Back the Blue. Me and a group of other medical freedom activists went to our local county sheriff here in Fresno County, showed him all this evidence, firsthand testimony. They're murdering people in the hospital. He just shrugs, oh, nothing I can do. I don't want to get sued. You know what I mean? Back the Blue. What else do we got here? We got economic news. LA votes for $30 minimum wage. Just make it $1 million minimum wage. Who cares? You know what I mean? Who cares? They're basically making it where you can't afford anything in the state of California. Oh, look, some more insider trading news. Of course, the Queen of Justice, Pamela Bondi, It's now being reported she sold at least $1 million in Trump media shares on Liberation Day. No foreknowledge, no insider trading. She's the justice. So just shut up and be poor and eat your glyphosate. It looks like, I don't know what's happening there. The peace talks there in Turkey. Putin didn't even show up. So I don't know how good the peace talks are going there. Doesn't look very well. Little Marco says that he doesn't have much confidence. What does he say? He does not have high expectations for the Ukraine-Russia peace talks. Neither do we, little Marco. Neither do we. We got the breakdown. Try to give you a breakdown here of the aforementioned, as in the headline. China has rolled out. This is now what, 3-4 days old, but with all the news, I said I would circle back all Raggedy Ann, and so we are today to go over a little bit about China's national security in the new era. They put out a white paper, 3 days ago? And so we'll go over that for our geopolitical reporting. Other geopolitical reporting. Here's a shocking trigger warning for you warmongers. NATO's procurement agency under investigation for alleged corruption linked to military contracts. I know, shocking. And then we got, of course, the Aardvark genocide continues. They are bombing the hell out of Gaza today. Aardvarks ramp up strikes in Gaza, killing dozens. As Trump floats freedom zone. That's a headline out of CNN. And so we do have Trump floating the idea of creating a freedom zone in Gaza, aka high-tech slave prison grid, aka freedom zone. And Trump really has embraced the former radical jihadist ISIS leader. They're now de facto president of Syria. And so in a strange turn of events, now we back formerly wanted terrorists. Who knew? Who knew how you could reform a radical jihadist terrorist? And then Trump says the U.S. and Iran have sort of agreed on the terms of a nuclear deal. Sort of. I guess that's better than bombing them. All right. Let's get back. Let's get to this day in history. On this day of May 15th, 2025, in the year 1672, the first copyright law was enacted in Massachusetts. In 1701, the War of Spanish Succession begins. In 1718, London lawyer James Puckle patents the world's first machine gun. In 1817, the first private mental hospital opens in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I wanted to read a little bit more about that. I didn't write it all down here, but the world's first private mental hospital opens in the United States. Asylum, they called it in 1817, the Asylum for the Relief of Persons Deprived of the Use of Their Reason. Big, long, fancy name there. Now Friends Hospital in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So we do need mental institutions, but of course it will be institutionally abused, as we've already seen happen. Is the problem here now, isn't it? In 1829, Joseph Smith, ordained by John the Baptist, according to Joseph Smith, for your Mormons out there. You can't trust Joseph Smith saying he was ordained by John the Baptist, then I don't know who you can trust, right? Right. In 1862, on this day, the U.S. Department of Agriculture was created. Tying in with, We love spray glyphosate right on your food. They do, basically. So there you go. We love it. We love it. Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. In 1897, the Scientific Humanitarian Committee, founded in Berlin, Germany, was the first LGBTQ rights organization. They do have fancy, well-meaning, philanthropic sounding names. The Scientific Humanitarian Committee. Who could be against them? In 1905, Las Vegas was founded in Nevada. In 1911, the Supreme Court dissolved Standard Oil under the Sherman Antitrust Act. And then it was just broken up into 100 other different spin-off companies, and all for show. And the Rockefeller monopoly got that much richer. But hell, they broke up Standard Oil. I don't know what else we want out of life. In 1916, U.S. Marines occupy Santo Domingo to quell domestic unrest. I'm glad that the Marines saw it fit to police Santo Domingo there in 1916, and occupied it until 1924. In 1918, the Finnish Civil War ends. In 1951, the first vaginoplasty, sex reassignment surgery, was performed in the UK on Roberta Cow by Dr. Harold Gillis. Some claim the father of modern plastic surgery. I don't know what we'd do without that butcher in our chopping up people's body parts. In 1962, the U.S. Marines arrive in Laos, policing the world. In 1991, Defense releases documents claiming Manuel Noriega of Panama is the CIA's man in Panama. You know? Well, now you know. All right. What's our segue here? Let me check on the chat quickly. Shout out to the chat over there on the Rumble. Always lively. If any viewers are looking for a lively chat, go over to the Rumble channel, and they'll harass you over there, I'm sure. I did check in on Barry. I emailed him, and I haven't heard back from him. So let's hope all is well with Barry out there. Let me check the email real quick again and see. It was like only a half hour before the show, so I'm sure he's not glued to his computer like I am. But so we're waiting to hear a word back from Barry to make sure everything's okay, as we haven't seen him this week on the interwebs. Okay, so it is indeed basically a puppet show, clown show, political theater. Judge Jeanine Pirro, seems like half of Trump's administration is from Fox News. She was sworn in as interim U.S. attorney. And so it's good to see TV judges there dishing out justice. Let's watch this short report. We're literally watching. It's all theater here, and they continue to prove it to us. If you can't trust a TV judge that's on Fox News, I don't know who you can trust in this country.
Well, today marks former The Five co-host Judge Jeanine Pirro's first full day on the job as the new interim U.S. attorney for Washington, D.C., the nation's capital. She was sworn in yesterday and will now oversee a powerful office that has oversight over all crimes that occur within the nation's capital. We'll keep an eye on this, Sandra. It's going to be interesting to watch going forward.
All the best to our friend Judge.
Yeah, we need an entire administration of TV hosts. I'm convinced it's all fake. And now my heart's broken because my new favorite Democrat I announced yesterday, we come to find out today that he's in league with Fauci, essentially. So Shuri Thundar, I was going to put this picture on my wall in a frame as my new favorite politician, him and Jasmine Crockett But turns out he's good too. Just when you thought you found a good one, Democrat Congressman Siri Thundar, famed for railing against Trump, carried out unspeakable act against 118 beagles. He's trying to impeach Trump, and he's been accused of abandoning over 100 dogs to starve after his company cruelly tested pharmaceuticals on them. Thundar was behind a testing lab that shut down in 2010. The lab, Annie Klink, you can't even pronounce it, purposes, was closed after its parent company, Azro Pharma, owned by him, went bankrupt. Months after the New Jersey lab closed, local animal rights activists alerted authorities to 118 beagles that had been left behind, locked in the facility, as reported by HuffPost. At the time, the lab's ex-workers told USA Today they had been jumping fences at the facility to provide food and water for the dogs. Insiders claimed that even before the dogs were abandoned to starve, they had lived horrific lives in captivity and were subjected to toxicology tests. And so just when you thought you had a new favorite politician, they go and pull this crap. So I guess he's in league with Fauci on torturing beagles. Remember, Fauci did that whole experiment, strap them down, cut out their vocal cords, and have these flies eat their brains out, essentially. Yeah, there's a thing. They don't like beagles for some reason. We're coming to learn here now.
You have to spay and neuter them. Nobody leaves without a beagle. At least one beagle. Today we rescued 120 beagles from a lab in New Jersey that had gone out of business. And some friends of ours at an animal rights organization in New York City went and freed them and said, we need to do something with these animals.
So there you go. There's the animal rights activist liberating the stranded beagles there after our friend Thundar abandoned them essentially to starve to death. Quite horrific. Okay, here's Trump pumping up the troops at Al Udeid Air Force Base in Qatar. Let's watch this propaganda from the White House.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause our flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away.
There's Trump's intro. He'll probably get flagged for copyright for it. Yeah, so he gave a big speeches over there to the troops. This is the image they put out there. Peace through strength. How about we shut that military base down and bring our troops home? How about that idea? I know. Shocking. Peace through strength. We reel the military back in here of our 700 plus bases all over the world. It is great propaganda, though. Look at this. With the drone right there. I don't even know who's. I guess this is Qatar's flag. Should have probably looked it up. And then you look here, old Gerald Salente. He's trolling the White House here. He says, "Peace through strength." That's the Houthi motto. That's pretty good stuff there. That's a pretty good troll, I must say. Here is another propaganda video from the White House. We're setting records on this trip. We're bringing a lot of investment back into the U.S. for the military-industrial complex and the scientific dictatorship. We love it.
It's a true privilege to visit your country, special country, and gather as friends. I'm honored to be the first American president ever to officially visit. To the Emir, to the royal family, and to this entire nation, congratulations on a spectacular job. As president, I'm proud that our growing friendship is blossoming into a full-fledged economic and security partnership. We're setting records on this trip. We're bringing a lot of investment back into the United States of America. Will be well over $10 trillion. I want to thank Your Highness for helping with that number. You know you can count on us, and you know that it's going to be a great investment for you. So tonight, let us give thanks for the blessings of this friendship. We have a great friendship. I want to wish peace to the Emir and to all Qataris. Working together, we can help the entire region unlock its potential. So I just want to say it's an honor to be with you.
How are we supposed to take these guys seriously? They show up to a business meeting wearing freaking sandals and dresses. So Trump in UAE today. Here's the meeting there. And something, this guy's like pumping all the climate change stuff. Oh, but we love him now. Isn't that wonderful? President Trump secures $2 billion in new U.S. UAE deals and accelerates previous committed $1.4 trillion. A little bit about it. Boeing and GE Aerospace, your military industrial complex, we're sure glad that they're making billions. Boeing and GE Aerospace secured a $14.5 billion commitment from Etihad Airways to invest in 28 American-made Boeing 787s and 777X aircraft powered by GE engines. And so they say here, this is going to this is supporting 60,000 U.S. jobs. In Oklahoma, Emirates Global Aluminum will invest to develop a $4 billion primary aluminum smelter project, one of the first new aluminum smelters in America in 45 years. Where are they going to put the toxic waste from this production? Now that they'll still put it in the drinking water. You know what I mean? I hope they find a good way to, no, but seriously, they should, now that we're not doing the fluoride anymore, which was actually toxic waste from aluminum manufacturing, amongst other things. Energy leaders worldwide, ExxonMobil, Occidental Petroleum, and EOG Resources are partnering with Abu Dhabi National Oil Company for expanded oil and natural gas production valued at $60 billion. It will help lower energy costs and create hundreds of skilled jobs in both countries. RTX is partnering with Emirates Global Aluminum and UAE's Tazzoon Council on a pioneering gallium project that will help secure and stabilize the United States' critical mineral supply chain. Qualcomm is expanding its global innovation footprint through partnerships with ADIO and E&A, or it's just E&. A new global engineering center in Abu Dhabi will focus on AI data centers and industrial IoT, advancing the UAE's digital transformation while supporting U.S. research, engineering jobs, and demand for American technologies. Isn't it nice? They're all rolling out the data centers, the AI. It's almost like there's a global agenda for scientific dictatorship, technocracy, one world government. Holtec International and IHC Industries Holding are entering cooperation to build a fleet of Holtec's SMR-30 small modular retractors, starting at the Palisades site in Michigan. MI is the abbreviation there. Thanks, John, on the Odysee for reminding me yesterday. This agreement includes a commitment of $10 billion and an additional $20 billion for fleet projects. Finally, Amazon, not to be left out, Web Services, and the UAE Cyber Security Council have launched a sovereign cloud launch pad to accelerate public cloud services adoption in UAE. The initiative is expected to contribute $181 billion to UAE's digital economy by 2033 and includes a new UAE Cyber Security Technology Innovation Center. And so they're all getting high-teched up for our high-tech enslavement. Isn't it all just so wonderful? Here's a video of the thumbnail of the largest building in the world lighting up with America's flag. Maybe that new Syrian president can fly a plane into that building. Oh no, he's reformed. Sorry, I don't know what I was thinking. Like these guys are complete dictator tyrants, but who cares? Who cares? Wearing dresses. At least he had shoes on for this photo. This is Trump now. Photographed with UAE President, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan in Abu Dhabi. Where is the human rights outcry? There is none about how these people treat their people. Very lavish, as you can tell there. Trump does love the gold leaf, and so extremely lavish, as the large majority of their population squalors in poverty. And so I'm sure Trump does appreciate that. in Abu Dhabi. What about this ridiculousness? I don't know how about you guys all feel about NASA. I think it's a giant money laundering fraud scam. But here's Trump receives a briefing on UAE's space program and its partnership with NASA. Let's watch this short clip. He's like, yeah, here's where we stage up the fake space videos, dare I say. What's the name of that building? Do we even have a name of it? Probably can't even pronounce it. And we got pictures. I know I saw the name somewhere. The Burj Khalifa. I think I pronounced that right. That's this building that they lit up like the American flag. That we saw the video of. Tallest building of the world. In the world. All right. So that's Trump's comings and goings over there in the Middle East. A little bit about it. Pumping a lot of propaganda. No criticism of their human rights violations whatsoever. On to our public health section now. United Health stock plunges 13% amid Medicare fraud investigation. But I thought they were just an honest company that wants to provide people health care and give them coverage and never deny a claim, and they care about health. No, turns out they're a giant fraud racket like all the rest of them. Shocking, I know. But yet they get due process and we can't convict them. And so maybe it's just the Justice Department, witch hunting. So we have to let the investigation unfold. But I have a sneaking suspicion that them and all the rest of them are committing Medicare fraud. Know what I'm saying? And then on the back end, denying people claims. And so I know it's shocking that people like Luigi or whoever did it would go after the CEO. Healthcare down on United Health Medicare fraud probe. They should probe them all. There you go. Wall Street Journal. United Health Group is under criminal investigation for possible Medicare fraud. Even if they get in trouble, they pay a fine and go about doing their business and cook up some other scheme for a new fraud. No one ever gets criminally in trouble. And their stock market price went down a little bit today. Let's see on the chart there. It did go down, but thankfully it bounced back up once they insured investors that the fraud would continue one way or another. No, I made that part up, but okay. So what is going on with the dyes? Well, thankfully the horrible dyes, that was like not even on my radar in the grand scheme of toxic pollutants. But over here in California, In-N-Out Burger has announced ingredient changes to some of its menu items. The burger chain is eliminating artificial dyes from its strawberry milkshakes and pink lemonade, replacing them with natural coloring. It's also in the process of transitioning to new ketchup that uses real sugar instead of high fructose corn syrup. Well, bless their hearts. Bless their hearts indeed. So Bobby Kennedy Jr. says, we'll put that on the screen. He reposted this post by In-N-Out Burger, or a report about it from ABC 7 there. But Bobby Kennedy Jr. goes on to say, in less than 30 days of HHS and FDA announcing plans to phase out petroleum-based dyes from the nation's food supply, America's fast food chain In-N-Out is voluntarily eliminating synthetic dyes from a few of its menu items. I encourage more companies to prioritize America's health and join the effort to make America healthy again. Are chimps smarter than most humans? I'm starting to think they are. Chimps use medical plants to treat their wounds. A new study finds humanity's closest living relatives will chew plants and apply makeshift peluches to wounds and use leaves for hygienic scrub. And so wild chimpanzees have been observed self-medicating their wounds with wild plants, providing medical aid to other chimps and even removing others from snares left by human hunters, new research suggests. And so, yeah, I think these monkeys are smarter than a large majority of humans out there today. Sad to say, but that seems to be the state of affairs that we find ourselves in. Chimpanzees and baboons, other primate species. So, yeah, smarter than a lot of humans. Continuing, watch out for your pork. I don't eat much pork at all, I guess, because whatever. I don't really particularly like it. I do like pork chops every now and again, but keep in mind, gene-edited pork, the CRISPR pigs, now heading to your dinner plate. So isn't this an exciting development? The world's first gene-edited pigs designed for human consumption just received FDA approval. And so while they're getting the dyes out, they're slipping in gene-edited pork. While supporters hail this as a breakthrough in agriculture, critics worry about long-term consequences of permanently altering our food supply. Bunch of conspiracy theorists. I don't know why they don't trust the science. This approval signals a new era in biotechnology that could transform farming forever and create unforeseen problems we're unprepared to handle. Well, who cares? It's science. Although the CRISPR modified animals are immune to a costly disease, what does this mean for consumers who unknowingly eat them next year? I don't know. They could put a label on there, but then, probably the majority would love it. Porcupine porcine reproductive and respiratory syndrome has been the bane of the industry, pig farming, since the 1980s. How about stop the factory farms? Screw that. The nasty respiratory virus kills piglets, causes fever and breathing problems. The cost the U.S. pork industry over $300 million annually. The virus spreads easily in crowded factory farms and mutates so quickly that miracles can't keep up. Wait a minute. I was told this is not possible, but they admit it here that the miracles can't keep up. Enter Genus, a British biotech company with a radical solution. Using CRISPR gene editing scissors, they've created pigs essentially immune to PRRS. The team edited pig embryos to remove the cellular receptor that the virus uses to enter the cells. No receptor, no infection. It's that simple, at least in theory. The FDA approval means these genetically altered animals can now reproduce and pass their edited genes to offspring. It's a historic moment that puts gene-edited meat on track to reach the American dinner tables sometime next year. And so we love informed consent so much, I'm sure none of this will be labeled. And so I guess we're crossing pork off of the menu here now. But like I said, I was never a big pork fan anyway. It has to be kosher, right? Yeah. Many people feel powerless because of the reality of unlabeled gene-edited meat potentially entering our food supply. But there are actions you can take today. Look for certified organic meat, which cannot contain genetically modified organisms under current USDA standards. Well, they need to change those. Support local farmers who practice traditional breeding methods. The thought never occurred to them that our factory farming is extremely unhealthy and cruel to animals, and we need to change our farming practices. No, we're going to go and edit their genes to work around it, right? I mean, it's literally insane. Contact your local representative about labeling requirements. I'm sure they'll listen right up for that one. Consider reducing your reliance on industrial meat altogether. That is true. Stay informed about what's in your food. Well, they're not labeling it, so it's kind of hard to be informed, so you better just assume it's all gene edited here now. Continuing, it's National Women's Health Week. Let's watch this from Dr. Fink. She shares why prioritizing women's health is important and announces the first HHS National Women's Health Conference coming next year. It's an exciting milestone for women's health. Let's watch this. Dr. Fink.
Hello, I'm Dr. Dorothy Fink, Deputy Assistant Secretary for Women's Health at the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. It's National Women's Health Week, an extra special time to focus on your health. Under the leadership of Secretary Kennedy, the focus of this National Women's Health Week is to highlight opportunities to prevent and reduce chronic disease and cancer. Among the biggest risks for women in this country are high blood pressure, obesity, and diabetes. Talk to your doctor about steps you can take to reduce your risk. We're also thrilled to announce a historic milestone, the first ever National Women's Health Conference, hosted by the Office on Women's Health, will take place from March 11th through 13th, 2026 in Washington, D.C. This groundbreaking event will bring together women, clinicians, researchers, and advocates to advance the future of women's health. So mark your calendars, stay tuned for more, and most importantly, take time this week to care for yourself.
Happy National Women's Health Week. Karen says in the chat, augmented humans, transhumanists don't need real food. Wow. So what about the rest of us? I guess we don't need real food either. Dr. Oz, more of the TV here is a continuing theme that we're finding. Dr. Oz, head of CMS now. He says, famous TV doctor, right? One of the fundamental principles emphasized for TV hosts is to always keep the audience informed about the direction of the show. In the same spirit, I met with CMS Gov team to communicate our big picture goals clearly, so everyone is aligned and motivated. Our number one asset is the hardworking patriots on our team. Stay tuned for more about these goals and objectives. All these criminals should resign immediately, was my number one goal. Of course, they won't. They're living high on the hog and putting on a show like they care about your health. It's truly disgusting and despicable. This story. Who wrote this op-ed? I think it's behind the paywall. Never mind. This one isn't. HHS to stop recommending miracles for children and pregnant women. Wall Street Journal reports. It hasn't been made official yet, but here's the headline. And so the Trump administration is planning to drop recommendations that pregnant women's teenagers and children get the miracles as a matter of routine, according to people familiar with the matter. Bobby Kennedy is expected to remove the CDC recommendations for these groups around the same time it launches a new framework for approving miracles. The people with the situation told the Wall Street Journal. The exact timing of the announcement wasn't clear. The CDC currently recommends that everyone 6 months and older, including pregnant women, should receive a miracle. I wonder what's stopping them from saying it right now. But don't you worry, your doctor will still recommend it. I mean, it'll probably take them like 5 years. And you could say, look, the government, your regulators, they're not recommending it. Huh? What? Huh? Their head is literally up their rear end there. So, yeah, maybe your doctor in 5 years would follow the regulators' guidance. I don't know. Probably not. They're making big money off of it. So who cares, right? Just literally laugh in your face as they inject your 6-month-old. And here's where it's going. Why did a big part of it is this right here. Why did they foist all of this upon the population? Infant with rare incurable disease is first to successfully receive personalized gene therapy treatment. NIH-supported gene editing platform lays groundwork to rapidly develop treatments for other rare genetic diseases. Hell, mandate everybody take it. Oh, they already did that? Never mind. A research team supported by NIH has developed and safely delivered a personalized gene editing therapy to treat an infant with a life-threatening, incurable genetic disease. The infant, who was diagnosed with a rare condition, carbamolophalate synthetase 1, or something they just made up, deficiently shortly after birth, has responded positively to the treatment. The process from diagnosis to treatment took only 6 months. See, now you can warp speed all of your personalized gene therapy treatment. Isn't this an exciting development? Well, actually, this has been the plan the entire time. The technology used in this study was developed using a platform that could be tweaked to treat a wide range of genetic disorders and opens the possibility of creating personalized treatments in other parts of the body. Isn't this exciting? So not only can we have gene-edited pork on our table, we can have gene-edited babies in our cribs. A team of researchers at Children's Hospital in Philadelphia and the Perelman School of Medicine at University of Pennsylvania developed the customized therapy using gene editing platform CRISPR. They corrected a specific gene mutation in the baby's liver cells that led to the disorder. CRISPR is advancing gene editing technology that enables precise changes to DNA inside living cells. This is the first known case of a personalized CRISPR-based medicine administered to a single patient and was carefully designed to target non-reproductive cells, so changes would only affect the patient. Yeah, we're there. They're experimenting on babies, infants. And they're going to continue along the claim that a lot of this stuff we see, and I do believe some is genetic, but nowhere near the amount of claims that are made by the medical establishment that say, it's genetic. Don't worry about it. It's none of the toxic environment, toxic soup that we're all swimming in. It couldn't be that. It's genetic, don't you know? And thankfully, now we have personalized gene therapy treatments. New Georgia law shields Roundup maker from some cancer-related lawsuits. And so isn't this wonderful? Manufacturers of chemicals that make pesticides, fertilizers, and herbicides for crops will soon be shielded from Georgians who say the companies did not sufficiently warn consumers of health risks. Well, hell yeah, give them a friggin' liability protection. I mean, come on. The Georgia legislature passed legislation that aims to protect Bayer, literal Nazi company, from lawsuits where consumers have claimed there were no warning labels on the popular weed killer Roundup saying that it could cause cancer. Well, hell yeah, no label warnings and give them liability protection. And they know damn well it causes cancer. Who cares? Georgia becomes second U.S. state to shield makers of a Roundup weed killer from some cancer claims. And so isn't this good news coming out of corrupt Georgia there? The legislator, let me read this to you here to get it correct for you. In a victory for global agrochemical maker Bayer, you just say / Monsanto, Georgia has become the second state to shield pesticide manufacturers from some lawsuits claiming they failed to warn customers of potential dangers. The legislation was signed into law last Friday by Georgia Governor Brian Kemp, a great environmentalist and protector of public health, is designed to protect Bayer from lawsuits claiming that it failed to tell customers that its popular weed killer Roundup could cause cancer. It's written broadly enough to provide legal protection in Georgia to any pesticide manufacturers that follows federal labeling requirements. North Dakota governor signed the first such law last month, and similar measures have been considered this year in 9 other states. Well, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Just give the transhumans their personalized gene therapy and everything will be fine, right? Right. Bayer, based in Germany, as we aforementioned, Nazi company, acquired Roundup with the 2018 purchase of Monsanto, St. Louis based there in Missouri. Great American company. We love them for such products as Agent Orange and also flooding the market with glyphosate in their Roundup. So, yeah. Causes non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which juries agreed. More than 67,000 of the 181,000 claims involving Roundup remain outstanding. I know, God forbid they pay for the damage that they caused to people. Pass liability protection immediately. Bayer insists glyphosate's safe. Of course they do. They're lying criminals committing crimes against humanity at a global scale. So there you go. Look for this legislation coming down in your state anytime soon. It's beyond the pale, man. Glyphosate or Roundup is designed to be used in conjunction with genetically modified seeds that resist glyphosate. Roundup has become a staple in growing key crops like corn, soybeans, and cotton. So you better bet, well, just assume anything with those ingredients is soaked in glyphosate, unless it is labeled organic. Can we even trust that? Probably not. So you just better know it's genetically modified and soaked in glyphosate. Corn, soybeans, and cotton, amongst other crops. I don't know, maybe your GMO seeds failed? I don't know. Maybe they built a whole industry around this fraud. I don't know. Okay, live commercial break. Everybody go to weaponizednews.com. Get yourself some stickers there. The holograph sticker, the white background sticker, and then we do have a clear background sticker as well. Put it on your laptop, your bumper, your guitar, and spread the word about Weaponized News. Right there. Support independent reporting and analysis like no place else on the interwebs here at Weaponized News. Now here's a word from our sponsor, Abba Zaba Enterprises, and we'll be right back with where we at now. Oh, the American police state. We love it, right? Because we have American flags, and that's about all we need.
Running a small business feeling overwhelmed by numbers and paperwork? Abba Zaba Enterprises has your back. Our expert business solutions include accounting, QuickBooks support, payroll, taxes, and top-notch consulting. Let us handle the details so you can focus on growing your business. Business Solutions Accounting, QuickBooks, Consulting, Payroll, Taxes. Call 559-577-9250. Call Abba Zaba Enterprises today at 559-577-9250.
And we're back. Welcome back on this Thursday edition of Weaponized News. Thank you for joining us. Trump's military parade. He's going to have a military parade on his birthday. The upcoming military parade in Washington, D.C. to celebrate the U.S. Army's 250th anniversary could cost up to $45 million and happens to coincide with Trump's 79th birthday. Isn't that wonderful? The June 14th parade is slated to feature 6,600. We're just missing one more 6 soldiers, as well as 50 military aircraft and 150 vehicles. And I saw a report they're adding more tanks to it as well, but who knows about that. So look forward on June 14th for the military parade in Washington, D.C. As America is police of the world, so we might as well celebrate it on the Army's 250th anniversary. Okay, continuing here. So we're getting tough on immigration. We want American jobs, right? Right. No, actually, H-1B visa numbers here now. It's being projected that in fiscal year 2026, the Trump administration will approve 120,141 H-1B visas. Of course, that's American jobs, right? No, well, actually, those are foreigners coming to take American jobs. But who cares? Don't be a racist. Here's the little chart showing you where we're at with it. And so tough on immigration, America jobs first, and all of that rhetoric. It is down a little bit, right? See right here from the current year, 135,000. And so creating American jobs by bringing over foreigners. Yep. Trump's military buildup at the border expands. The Pentagon has sent thousands of troops, spy planes, and even 2 warships to surveil the land and coast. And so again, the border's secure, but is that to keep them out or to keep you in, or maybe both? In the past 4 months, the Pentagon has sent thousands of active duty combat troops and armored Stryker combat vehicles to the southwest border to confront what President Trump has declared on his first day in office as an invasion of migrants, drug cartels, and smugglers. That's not all. The military has also dispatched U-2 spy planes, surveillance drones, helicopters, and even 2 Navy warships to surveil the borders and coast around the clock. The buildup of forces underscores how Trump is breaking with his predecessor's practice of mostly limiting deployments along the U.S.-Mexican border. About 2,500 active duty troops were at the border at the end of Biden administration. Now there are about 8,600 troops at the border. And so another case of be careful what we wish for. And like it's all a setup to militarize the border. And yet no one who allowed this crisis, Mayorkas, others in the Biden administration, face any repercussions whatsoever. Problem, reaction, solution. The problem, there's all these illegals just coming over, pouring into the country. The public screams, do something about it. Solution, militarized border. Don't we just love it here now? So be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. And so who caused this problem? Will they ever get in trouble? No. Continuing. Here's the story. They set up a useful idiot dupe Patsy. I don't know how people keep falling for it, but they're radicalized. Ex-Army soldier 19 arrested over ISIS plot at U.S. military base after stockpiling armor-piercing bullets and bombs. Sounds shocking, I know, but thankfully the FBI is keeping us safe from these terrorists. He called the plot a dream in chilling messages. But then you go down here a little bit further. The former Army National Guard soldier has been arrested near U.S. military base on the day he alleged to carry out an ISIS-inspired mass shooting attack. The suspect is accused of gathering armor-piercing bullets and teaching 2 other people to build bombs before his terror plot was foiled, according to the Department of Justice. But you go down a little bit further in the story, and as is always, the ex-national, his name, Amir Abdulajid Muhammad, said, 19 years old, previously served in Michigan Army National Guard from 2022 until he was discharged in December of 2024. But take a look at this. The ex-National Guardsman first began talking to undercover FBI investigators posing as ISIS supporters in June of 2024 while he was still enlisted, according to the criminal complaint filed in federal court. And so you have it again. The FBI setting up dupe patsies, radicalizing them, then busting them, and then saying, look, we just saved you from a terrorist. Well, you radicalized them and set them up to be said terrorists. Who cares? Muslim bad, right? Yeah. FBI good. They're keeping us safe. And the story repeats over and over and over and over again. Here's a hand serious attack. Here's his hand said allegedly drew a sketch of the base for the attack. Take a look at this. This guy's got it well put together with his National Guard training there. And so you could see a very serious attack was planned by this handwritten map of the base. It's a reprehensible crime, U.S. Attorney Jerome Gordon said, that anyone working with a terrorist organization such as ISIS to carry out a violent attack has committed a reprehensible crime. But it was the FBI posing as ISIS. Huh? Yep. So ridiculous. Okay, I know everybody was waiting for this. It's police week. And when they're not setting up dupe patsies to do false flag terrorist attacks, they're putting out propaganda videos. And so here it is, celebrating Police Week from the Department of Homeland Security. I don't know what we'd do without them.
Bad boys, what you want, what you want, what you gonna do when Chevy John Brown come for you? Tell me what you wanna do, what you gonna do.
probably get flagged for copyright on that one too. I don't know how the government's getting away with it. Like I said, the government, they do whatever they want. On Peace Officers Memorial Day during Police Week, see how much more of this we can stomach. This is from the Department of the Interior, celebrating all of the Peace Officers Memorial. And so there you go. We celebrate the order followers carrying out the tyranny of empire there. And this again from the White House, the thin blue line there. And again, we reported personally a report of murders at hospitals to our county sheriff. And he literally shrugged his shoulders and said, I don't want to get involved in it. There you go. That's why we support law enforcement on this National Police Week. On to the economic news. Public service announcement here. Cybercrime spree that hobbled British retailers now aimed at the U.S. Google says they're probably the ones running it. At least 3 top British retailers have experienced cyber attacks in recent weeks. And now they say they're pointing it at the United States. At least 3 top British retailers experiencing these cyber attacks. Marks and Spencer was forced to pause online orders for weeks. Hackers who contacted the BBC provided evidence of huge amounts of customer and employee data stolen from the co-op group. So, yeah. Major American retailers have already been targeted. John Holquist, the chief analyst from Google Threat Intelligence Group, told NBC News. US-based retailers are aware of the threats posed by cybercriminal groups that have recently attacked several major retailers in the United Kingdom, and many companies have taken steps to harden themselves against these criminal groups' tactics over the last several years. It's probably Google doing it. You know what I mean? Wouldn't surprise me at all. Los Angeles votes for $30 minimum wage. Makes sense, right? Los Angeles lawmakers have advanced a measure that would make the city home to the nation's highest minimum wage, approving a plan to raise hourly pay to $30 for tens of thousands of tourism workers by 2028, the year the city is set to host the Olympics. The Los Angeles City Council voted 12-3 on Wednesday to approve the proposal, which applies to hotels with more than 60 rooms and businesses operating at Los Angeles International Airport. How you could afford anything there with that minimum wage is beyond me. Get ready to pay through the nose for your hotel stay and any other services at the international airport and anything else this falls under. But hell, workers' rights, entry-level job, $30 an hour. Shit, I might just move to LA and get an entry-level job for $30 an hour. Damn. And so no care about economic sense. Just who cares? $30 an hour. It's free, like Bernie would say, right? Everything's free. Who cares about the rest of the economy, the implications? Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's free. $30 an hour. Quite incredible. I'm sure it will pass there in Los Angeles. And we do love our insider trading there in the Trump administration as we continue to report. Bondi sold Pamela Bondi, Attorney General of America. We're still waiting on Epstein files. Someday, some way, they'll come out, I'm sure. And all of the guilty parties will be held to justice. Bondi sold at least $1 million in Trump media shares on Liberation Day, documents show, according to CBS News. And so on the day, Trump announced sweeping tariffs. A government ethics report shows that the Pamela Bondi sold her stake in Trump media. It was worth somewhere between $1 million and $5.5 million at the time of the sale. The sale occurred on April 2nd, the day Trump dubbed Liberation Day, in which he announced his wide-ranging tariffs on goods imported from foreign countries. Dare I say insider trading, inside knowledge? Hell no. She's one hell of an investor. It's just these people, man. Wave your American flag. They're getting the bad guys. Trust the plan. As they get rich and they feed you gene-edited pork. Let's hear now from the, who's this Labor Secretary? Is this Labor Secretary? I think so. Yeah, Labor Secretary. Let's hear about how they're committed to ensuring every American worker can thrive with good pay, safe working conditions, and a secure retirement.
I believe, as you all do, that we must work together to foster the economy that ensures every American can thrive with good pay, safe working conditions, and a secure retirement. It is my honor to work on behalf of President Trump as we all bring back jobs to the United States and put the American worker first again.
Well, as we covered, it's not causing them to slack off the 100,000+ H-1B visas, but we care about American workers, let me tell you. Or as the Labor Secretary there just told us. Okay, where are we at here now? Oh, we're at the, I know everybody's waiting for this enthralling report, but we had to get to it in honor of Simon. I know he would have covered it. And so we will cover it. I will cover it here now. Aforementioned, for the regular viewers, I'll put it on the screen here and then go through it. The Information Office of China's State Council on Monday issued a white paper titled China's National Security in the New Era. And we've been reporting on it continually, the new era here for those regular listeners know all too well, probably bored to death by it. China injects certainty and stability into a world of change and disorder. A holistic approach to national security guidelines, national security efforts in the new era, providing solid support for the steady and continued progress of Chinese modernization, reinforcing security in development and pursuing development in security, implementing the Global Security Initiative, and promoting the common security of the world, advancing the modernization of the national security system and capacity through deepening reforms. And then here it is. Oh, no, that's just the release. Where is it? It's here. Here it is. Had to translate it from Chinese into American. China's new national security in the new era. Here's their white paper for those interested. You can find the link on Weaponized News Substack. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Simon probably would. I'm going to read you some more highlights of it as we got a boil down. We got a few boil downs, but we got a summary from from the official Chinese state-run media there. And let's see. Let me go over the top 10 points here are as follows. Holistic security framework. The white paper introduces a comprehensive approach integrating military, economic, cyber, and environmental security. Sovereignty first. China prioritizes protecting its territorial integrity and political independence against external interference. People-centered governance. Security policies emphasize improving citizens' quality of life, tying stability to social welfare and poverty reduction. Cybersecurity focus. The document highlights investments in AI and data protection to counter cyber threats in a digital era. Global challenges. It addresses international issues like trade wars, climate change, pandemics, advocating for multilateral solutions. Rejection of hegemonism. China critiques unilateral actions by other powers promoting a multipolar world order. As we continue to report here, the white paper likely ties infrastructure projects to regional stability, ensuring safe trading routes. Legal strengthening. Plans to upgrade laws and regulations to address modern security challenges from terrorism to economic espionage. Technological innovation. Emphasis on leveraging AI and 5G and quantum computing to enhance national defense and resilience. Global leadership vision. China positions itself as a responsible power advocating for peace and cooperation in global security governance. So there's more. I'll put more links up and the whole white paper at Weaponized News Substack for those interested, again, in this Chinese white paper on China's national security in a new era. All right. We had to get that out of the way, so we did. Let's see, anything? Yeah, they use very strong language in there and challenging the hegemon, America. NATO's procurement agency under investigation for alleged corruption linked to military contracts, ABC News reports. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte says the organization's procurement agency is cooperating with police investigating corruption and fraud allegations involving the purchase of military equipment. Say it ain't so, but it is so. They're under investigation. I guess they need due process like everyone else, but does EU believe in that? Nah, probably not. Arrest them all now and hang them at the Hague. The NATO Support and Procurement Agency, NSPA, helps the 32 members of the world's biggest security alliance and their partners to buy defense equipment and other security systems and support. NATO, as an organization, does not own any weapons. Hands off. Not ours. The European Union's criminal justice agency, Eurojust, said today that it had provided support for a cross-border investigation into alleged corruption involving current and former NSPA employees. Shocking, I know. Rutte said that the NATO agency is working very closely with all the relevant authorities and obviously will continue doing that. We want to get to the root of this, he said. They're going to investigate themselves and find no wrongdoing. Belgian prosecutors said Wednesday that 2 suspects in the western region of Flanders had been taken in for questioning over allegations. One was arrested in the other release. No names or details were provided. They said that the probe is focusing on possible irregularities in the awarding of contracts to defense companies to buy military equipment like ammunition and drones, which have been a decisive factor in Russia's war on Ukraine. Well, let them do anything they want. They're killing Russians. I mean, come on. Come on, EU prosecutors. They're killing Russians. They're allowed to do as much corruption as they want. Damn it. Okay, so there were supposed to be big peace talks today, and it turns out Putin didn't even show up for the peace talks. And so Putin snubs Zelensky in Turkey. And so I don't know, maybe they're going to sort out something, but not with Putin being part of the direct meetings there in person. Here is Zelensky with his entourage in Turkey there.
President Zelensky, Sky News, do you have a message for Vladimir Putin?
I'm here. I think this is very clear message. All the best. Thank you very much.
I'm here, and that is his message. And he has his cute little military fatigues on, as always. So Putin strangely did not show up for this meeting. Zelensky skips peace talks after Putin snub. Trump downplays no-show of Putin. So I guess we're not getting a peace deal today. So, yeah, it was supposed to happen. Didn't happen. I guess our prayers were not answered. Trump says the U.S. and Iran have sort of agreement on the terms for a nuclear deal, according to the AP here. President Trump said Thursday, today, that the United States and Iran have sort of agreed to terms on a nuclear deal, offering a measure of confidence that an accord is coming into sharper focus. Really? Really? Sort of, kind of, maybe. Again, comparing little Chuck Schumer. Is that what they call him? Little Chuck Schumer? Crooked Chuck Schumer? Well, no, he's a Palestinian Chuck Schumer, even though that's literally impossible. He's the top Democrat aardvark there in the Senate. But Trump somehow is trying to throw shade his way and claiming that now Chuck Schumer's a Palestinian, and nothing could be further from the truth. Here's Trump making that claim during his interview here with CIA Sean Hannity on his Mockingbird Fox News program.
Democratic Party. Look at the leadership that's emerged. Jasmine Crockett, AOC, the Squad, Grandpa Bernie. They seem to be the most...
Well, look at Schumer. He turned out to be a Palestinian. I knew him right at the beginning. And I tell you what, Schumer has turned out, we call him the Palestinian senator. The senator from Palestine. No, Chuck Schumer is very disappointing.
Chuck Schumer's a hardened Zionist, like total bullshit, Trump. Sorry. Total bullshit. Here's Trump now praising the former, I guess he's reformed now, radical jihadist ISIS terrorist, now de facto president of Syria, al-Sharara. I guess we're now good buddies. Well, as it should be. It all came back around. The intelligence agencies are coming home. Here's Trump praising said reformed radical jihadist terrorists. Never mind all the Christians' heads he cut off there in Syria. That's perfectly fine. And the Alawites and others.
And I met the new leader of the country, and He's got a strong past. I'd be very nice. He's got a strong past, but I liked him a lot. I think he'll be a great representative, and we'll see. You're going to have a strong past to put that one around. You cannot be a weak person. If you're a weak person, we would just be wasting time. So he's a strong guy, and I thought he was good, and let's see what happens. But we're going to give him a fighting chance by taking off the sanctions. So
there we go. So now a Western puppet is in charge there in Syria. Very nice, isn't it? We took sanctions off of Syria. Trump says he wants, here's the clip in the headline, freedom zone, which means what? Trump says he wants to turn Gaza into a freedom zone. I have concepts for Gaza that I think are very good. Make it a freedom zone. Let the United States get involved. Literally the last thing we need is to get involved in that.
Well, we're working very hard on Gaza, and Gaza has been a territory of death and destruction for many years. The United States get involved and make it just a freedom zone, have a real freedom zone. Well, we're working very hard.
What the hell is freedom zone? Like a freedom city? Like a 15-minute control grid? I think that's what he's talking about here. The Economist reports Donald Trump bypasses aardvarks on path to peace in Gaza. Really? Netanyahu looks increasingly isolated from his closest ally. Really? I'm not buying any of this. But that's the narrative now they're trying to spin, giving Trump cover. Eden Alexander, dual citizen, went over there to commit genocide and ethnic cleansing. Trump saved them. New York University denies diploma to student who criticized aardvarks in commencement speech. And so we do appreciate that coming out of New York, the AP reports. Yesterday, Logan Runzo's speech for graduating students at New York University Gatlin School sparked waves of condemnation from pro-aardvark groups who demanded the university take aggressive disciplinary action against him. In a statement, NYU spokesperson John Beckerman apologized for the speech and accused the student of misusing his platform to express his personal and one-sided political views. He lied about the speech he was going to deliver and violated the commitment he made to comply with our rules. The university is withholding his diploma while we pursue disciplinary actions. So, yeah. Criticize aardvark genocide and no diploma for you. There. Qatar's prime minister confirmed they were close to a complete hostage deal after Eden Alexander's release, but hopes collapsed after aardvarks blew up a hospital. It was a massacre in Gaza. Going after a senior Hamas leader doesn't mean killing 70 people as collateral damage. Well, hell yeah, it does. I don't know what word this guy's been paying attention to. We're up to like, who knows, 100,000 collateral damage. More than that even.
Mentioned the case of Eden Alexander, whom we are happily seeing him free finally. This took us like a long, a lot of time and a lot of efforts and a lot of pressure without any exchange, which is basically something has never happened. Now, we wanted this to be also as a first step toward having a complete hostage deal. Unfortunately, the next day being followed by a massacre on a hospital in Gaza, and Just
Obviously,
to
the
try.
Israelis obviously said
Yeah.
they were going after senior Hamas leadership.
Yeah, but going after senior Hamas leader doesn't mean killing 70 people just as a collateral damage, which has just been the justification for the last year and a half. We cannot reach a deal when we have two different, a fundamental difference between the two parties. One party wants just to retrieve the hostage and continue the war, and the other party wants to end the war and doesn't.
Makes sense there, but hell, collateral damage. Qatar PM describes I saw reports of 500 million, I guess it's $400 million jet gift as a government-to-government transaction. Trump's not keeping the jet, all right? Or maybe he will. I doubt it, though.
A government-to-government transaction. It has nothing to do with personnel, whether it's on the U.S. side or on the Qatari side. Why would we buy an influence in the United States? If you will look just, in the last 10 years of the U.S.-Qatar relationship, Qatar has been always there for the U.S.
If it's not deemed legal, the offer would be withdrawn, I assume.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we will not do anything illegal. I mean, if there was something illegal, there were many ways to hide these kind of transactions and will not be visible for.
I trust him when he says he would never pay for influence, right? Seems very trustworthy with that little funny-looking hat. All these guys got funny hats, man. All right. Here's Sky News challenging Aardvark ambassador on the military video released by the IDF used to justify bombing Gaza's European hospital that turned out to show a nearby Jenin school and drainage ditches. When pressed, Aardvark's UN ambassador insisted it was accurate, even after IDF admitted it wasn't. Well, we do love our lies coming from these Aardvarks. Let's watch this. I'm surprised Sky News, owned by News Corp, right? A Murdoch, part of the Murdoch media conglomerate. I'm surprised they're allowed to even go there, but they are. So we'll play the clip.
Incident with the paramedics. It wasn't until footage emerged. Israel continued to deny that these were innocent paramedics. You said that they were in fact Hamas militants. It wasn't until footage emerged that Israel then said it would conduct an internal investigation, and the findings of that investigation has not concluded that these were Hamas militants, even though the paramedics say they alerted the IDF of who they were. In terms of yesterday's attack, I just want to show you some footage that was released by the IDF. Israeli forces say that they were targeting, as you say, a Hamas command and control center buried underneath the European hospital. You can see what the IDF says are tunnels outlined there in red. And this is footage, Ambassador, that the IDF itself has put out. Now, Sky News has confirmed the footage actually shows the Isan al-Agha school, which is about 160 meters away. So this is the courtyard of a school and not, in fact, the command and control center of Hamas.
So, because you sent me that information, I checked it with our people on the ground. And what we found out that in this case, yes, you had infrastructure of tunnels beneath the hospital, but it wasn't only beneath the hospital. It was stretched to other areas in that region. And that's why, it wasn't only under the hospital. But you should ask yourself, why under almost every hospital in Gaza, you have a command center of Hamas? And that's the question we should ask ourselves.
Sir, I just want to tell you what our experts have told us. Those tunnels that you're talking about, the dark shapes highlighted there on the screen, the markings were caused by water, not tunnels, because these are drainage systems. And so the dark shades that you're talking about, which Israel claims to be tunnels, are in fact caused by water because of a drainage system.
Well, I'm not familiar with your expert, but I can tell you that, Yilda, that today, in Gaza, you have underground system bigger than the tube in London and the subway in New York City combined. It's a huge infrastructure of tunnels. All the dollar that was spent over the years in Gaza went to the tunnels. And that's unfortunate. And we are determined it will not be that case. The future of Gaza will be without Hamas, without tunnels, and hopefully the money will be invested in building hospitals and schools and not a network of tunnels.
Ambassador, so can I confirm that the video that the IDF has put out to say was the European hospital and that there was a tunnel system under there was in fact wrong?
Absolutely not. I told you earlier, we checked it and we saw tunnels that started in the hospital and went to other areas in the surrounding area of the hospital.
Well, our experts say that this is in fact the courtyard of a school and not a command and control center. And like I said, those tunnels that you point to are in fact the dark marks were caused by water because of a drainage system. So would you say then and admit that this was in fact a mistake by the IDF?
Absolutely not. And I think we will be able to confirm, some of the individuals who we were able to eliminate in this operation. And you will ask yourself, it was like a school, why you have leaders of Hamas terrorist organization hiding beneath a school, beneath a hospital. They're taking advantage of those places, but we are determined to hunt them down everywhere.
I'm sorry, you're not answering my question. The footage put out by the IDF, they claimed that it was the tunnel and command and control center underneath the European hospital. The footage, in fact, is of a school. Did the IDF put out the wrong footage or they got it wrong?
No, so I answered you. Maybe you are not happy with the answer I'm giving you, but it wasn't only the hospital itself. The surrounding of the hospital, you have other infrastructure of Hamas, you have tunnels connecting those infrastructure into the hospital, and it's not the first time that we see that the hospital itself is the headquarters, and in facilities around the hospital, you have command centers of Hamas.
Same tired narrative, but at least a little pushback from the mainstream Sky News there. By this guy, there's like no lie he won't tell, right? I just got this from our producer. I don't have time to, got a text actually from one of our volunteer producers here. Hunger Games in real life. Let me just search this up because this is quite concerning. And we have one more. We're almost at the end of the show. Let me wrap up the aardvark coverage. Oh, CNN reports aardvark land ramps up strikes in Gaza, killing dozens as Trump floats freedom zone. Let's go to that, and then we got one more report. So the aardvark military intensified operations across Gaza today, killing more than 100 people, and pledged to continue bombings as Trump suggested establishing freedom zones in the enclave. So there you go. You're free to die. Isn't that wonderful? As reported yesterday, there under no circumstances will the war stop, according to our shadow president, Bibi, to paraphrase him. You know what I mean? So your freedom zone is you're free to die. Quite horrific. Indeed. Indeed, the genocide, ethnic cleansing program continues. I see in our chat over there the genetically modified CRISPR gene-edited pork that was reported on earlier in the show has sparked some people's appetites, and they're going over their menus for dinner tonight. Well, I'm glad to have satiated your appetite with that wonderful report about the unlabeled gene-edited pork to hit American dinner tables next year. Okay, the final report here, this is breaking for me because I'm barely learning of this, but we're in, looks like we're in store for real life Hunger Games now. And she's taken up the title, which I guess all the media is giving her, the Ice Barbie. I just call it a brunette Barbie. But I guess her new name is Ice Barbie. So let's see if I can find this report. It was texted to me. Yes, here we go. So are you not entertained yet? Well, prepare to be more entertained. Ice Barbie, Kristi Noem, is back in an insane reality TV show where immigrants compete for fast-track citizenship. And so isn't this an interesting development? If we weren't depraved enough by and over-entertained, but wait, there's more. Well, aren't there? It's self-evident now. It all is a TV production, fake and gay, as Barry would say. She's been called Ice Barbie for treating her cabinet position like a TV production. They all do. But now Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is pushing for an actual reality show pitting migrants against each other for the honor of fast-tracking their way to U.S. citizenship. It might sound like a joke, but the idea is for real and is outlined in a 35-page program pitch put together in coordination with DHS Secretary. Noem is even offering up officials from the U.S. from ICE to tally votes for the Made for TV contest. The pitch comes from Rob Wershoff, a writer and producer known for Duck Dynasty and A&E reality show and Louisiana Family and its hunting empire and Bravo's Millionaire Matchmaker. The proposed series is called The American, named after the train that contestants would ride around the country competing in regional specific cultural contests such as rolling logs in Wisconsin. It could lead to a grand finale with the winner getting sworn in at the steps of the U.S. Capitol. Along the way, we will be reminded what it means to be an American through the eyes of the people who want it the most. The script reads. And of course, Wershoff, who himself was born in Canada, said, "I'm not affiliated with any political ideology. As an immigrant myself, I am merely trying to make a show that celebrates the immigration process, celebrate what it means to be American, and have a national conversation about what it means to be American through the eyes of people who want it the most." The American. And so isn't this just wonderful? Yeah, I think it's a good idea, they said here. The McLaughlin, spokesman for Department of Homeland Security, so literally making a mockery out of our immigration system. Well, I don't know what else more we could want. A reality TV show. Maybe they can have them fight to the death as well, Hunger Games style. And so it just goes on with the absurdity, the clown world, idiocracy of it all. And so literally making a mockery of U.S. citizenship and our whole immigration process there from the made-for-TV Trump administration. There you go. It's literally in our face. It's reality TV. Are you not entertained? With real world consequences, with order followers, men and women with guns and other weapons that will enforce the edicts of clown world idiocracy upon you and your family. Isn't this quite a development? Well, friends, we're almost at the 2-hour point. We saw a few more people coming in there. Thank you, D22T, coming online there, and everybody else in the Rumble chat. And yeah, I'm sure that the aardvarks built the tunnels, and they created Hamas as well. But who cares? Who cares, right? Hamas bad, and they're good. as the genocide continues and is justified by all the aardvarks. All right, friends. We almost put in 2 hours today. That's all the news I have for you. Let me go over to the channels quickly before we sign off. Let's take a look at Odysee. We have Secret Squirrel in there. Secret Squirrel, shout out to you on the Odysee channel. Slow chat over there today. Quite a chat on the Rumble. Thank you guys for keeping that lively and sharing recipes as we're all appetized by that gene-edited pork and the glyphosate soaked food that we went over. 2 states now giving liability protection for the poisoning of us and the environment to Bayer. Who could say we did not see this coming? But legislation is in the work for many other states to also give liability protection for literally poisoning you and the environment. Because they know if they were not given liability protection, they'd be sued out of existence for the crimes against humanity that Bayer / Monsanto has committed. Same with Big Pharma and all the rest of these clowns. They're not legitimate industries or operations. When you have to be given liability protection because your product is so horrible, it kills and maims millions, then you shouldn't be in business. I know it's hard for the conservative Republicans to swallow this idea, but Jesus Christ, man. All right. Over to the, thank you for tuning in on the Odysee. The Bitchute. Take a look there. A few people on the Bitchute. Shout out to you. Thank you for tuning in to the Bitchute broadcast. The YouTubes. Hopefully they weren't too offended and we're not struck by copyright. As soon as I hear a song, I know I'm copyrighted. I pull it here as we're trying to skirt the community guidelines on the YouTubes. Thank you for tuning in on YouTube. Rumble, as always, thank you guys for tuning in on Rumble. X, thank you for tuning in on X. Kick, Facebook, and Twitch. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in on this Thursday edition of Weaponized News. As always, everybody, do your own research. Peace, love, and liberty. Speak out and take action. We'll see you back here tomorrow, Friday edition of Weaponized News.